Hey Brad Gang, I hope everyone's doing good and keeping safe. Lucid Motors has been killing it in the EV space, and I believe this could definitely get to $100. And in today's video, I'm going to show you why I believe that's the case through fundamental and technical analysis. And also they've got an upcoming earnings on the 15th of November. So this is definitely one to watch. And also I'm going to give you guys a heads up on what to expect on the run up to the earnings, on the day of the earnings, and also after the earnings. If you guys are new to my channel, make sure you subscribe and of course hit that notification bell. So Lucid Motors, they've got their upcoming earnings on the 15th of November. So what traditionally happens with earnings is this whole buy the rumor, sell the news type of scenario, whereby in the lead up to an earnings, basically the share price of a stock starts to rise, and then on the day or just after the earnings has been announced, the share price drops. And the reason for this is investors, they all think alike. They're going to be like, you know what, there's going to be a lot of demand towards the earnings and anticipation for the earnings being good or whatever. So a lot of demand starts getting driven towards the stock price. So people jump on that as well. And then when the earnings is given, then a lot of people start taking their profits if they made a profit. So that's usually why the price actually starts to drop. So this is partially why I believe the price of Lucid has been rising so rapidly recently. It's likely to continue rising in the lead up to the earnings. But on the 15th of November, I believe the price may drop a little bit. After that, the price is going to continue heading up because Lucid is a strong company. Fundamentally, it's a strong company and they've got a lot of things going on. So as you can see, the average daily volume being traded is 46.9 million shares that traded on a daily basis. But yesterday's session's volume was sitting at 76 million. So this shows that there's a lot of investors basically hopping on this, and you see it in the share price that's been rising. So between 2019 and 2020, the annual earnings for Lucid have sort of gotten worse. On paper, they've gotten worse because the earnings on 2019 was minus 277 million, whereas the earnings on 2020 was minus 719 million. So that's roughly around 4 times worse. On paper, this looks really bad, and it looks like, oh, look, the management is not doing well or whatever, the company is not doing well and it's not a good investment. But this is the best time to sort of get in because at this time the price had dropped. Price came all the way down to roughly around $18. I was buying the dip. Trust me, I was buying the dip. I've been loading on. Although the annual earnings look like they were getting worse, but if I have a look at the quarterly earnings, I mean Q1 of 2021 was pretty much where the annual earnings was, like minus 700, roughly 700 million, whereas Q2 of 2021 went from minus 700 million back up to minus 200 million. I mean, this is a huge increase. This shows a lot of progress within the company and within the financial statements. So fundamentally, this company is strong. This could potentially be why there's a lot of increase in the price in the lead up to Q3's earnings, basically on the 15th of November, because they believe that, you know what, Q1's earnings were so bad, whereas Q2 earnings was a massive improvement. So a lot of investors now maybe think that, you know what, Q3's earnings is going to show that the company is going to be profitable, etc. Whereas the last basically Q1 and Q2 earnings is still unprofitable at the moment. So there's a lot of eyes on the upcoming earnings right now. So another reason why the share price has been rising fundamentally is if we have a look at the short flow is sitting at 26%. Potentially a lot of short sellers that are being trapped in the market right now and buying to cover, either gradually buying back to cover the position or buying back to cover in that one, basically creating a lot of demand within the market. So it's that snowball effect whereby one short seller gets trapped, they have to buy back to cover, the price rises through that demand. So this is partially why the price went from $23 all the way up to $45. Personally speaking, this is a beautiful thing because I'm heavily invested in Lucid right now. So this is something, it's got me feeling some type of way, guys. So if we then hop over to the chart of Lucid, so in particular looking at the daily chart and look at all those beautiful green candles, the whole moves pretty much started or was partially moved by the fact that the price broke above a resistance at $28. I mean, this was I would say it was a key resistance on the daily chart because every time the price got to this level, it pretty much dropped. So the price got to this level on the 17th of March, fell, got back to the level roughly around the 8th of June, fell again, kept testing this level. And the way support and resistances work, and resistance in this particular instance, is that the more a resistance is tested, the weaker in theory that the resistance becomes. So the fact that this resistance was being tested multiple times, I mean, it was tested once, twice, 3 times, 4, 5, you know, eventually broken on the 6th time. So that shows that that was a pretty good resistance to begin with. And the fact that that resistance is now broken, there was a lot of bullish momentum to push this price even further up. And you can see that, I mean, when the resistance was broken, it was broken with a lot of momentum, basically a lot of volume. 377 million shares were traded that day, and most of those shares were bullish. They were determined to break that resistance, and they did it. So the price broke above the 10-period moving average shortly before it broke that $28 resistance, and ever since the price broke above the 10-period moving average, it's basically just been creating bull flag after bull flag. So the first bull flag was created and the price came back down to test that 10-period moving average. Because the price is above it, the 10-period moving average is actually acting as a very good dynamic support right now. So the price came back down, tested it, but the bulls were like, you know what, we're strong, we've come in masses, we're going to drive this price even further up. So they effectively broke the resistance of the bull flag and kept going up. The fact that the price actually broke the resistance of the bull flag, this shows that, look, the momentum is very, very strong. And guys, if this is all too much like the technical analysis, I understand that there's a lot of information right now. Send me a DM, send me a message or something. Let me know and I'll clarify any of these for you guys. It took me a while to understand all this stuff, okay? So if you guys don't understand, let me know. It goes down in the DMs, right? But anyway, the price broke above the resistance of the bull flag and continue heading up. So right now there's another bull flag that's been formed, and right now the price has actually fell back down to test the 10-period moving average again. So basically the bears are trying to break this 10-period moving average. So this could partially be one last effort from the trapped short sellers to basically add more selling pressure to try and get the price below the 10-period moving average. But I believe that the price could potentially head down to this temporary support at $39. So moving from the daily chart to have a look at the weekly chart just to see where this price could potentially go the next coming weeks, leading into months and potentially the end of this year. And as you can see, there's been a huge move up. The price actually broke above that $28 resistance, which was a good resistance on the daily chart. But as you can see, it's actually a good resistance on the weekly chart. So I believe there's a chance that the price could potentially fall before heading up to that $100. If we want to have a look to see where the price could potentially fall to, let's have a look at the Fibonacci retracement. And as you can see, the price could potentially fall to between 38 and 61 on the weekly. Basically, the 38% Fibonacci retracement is around $38 and the 61 is around $31. So anywhere between the 38 and the 61 is potentially a buy zone. So if the price gets to one of these areas, then I can expect a lot of demand that's going to be driven towards it that could potentially push the price even further up. And one thing I didn't cover earlier on in this video is that a lot of governments in a lot of countries, especially in the UK where I'm based, the governments are looking to phase out diesel and petrol engines and basically phase in a lot of EV cars. So this is all part of the move for like eco-friendly solutions, etc. So they're looking to do that by 2030. So there's going to be a lot of investors investing into EV. I mean, you already see Rivian had its IPO, went all the way up to beyond $100 and it's currently sitting at $100. But just remember, I'm not a financial advisor. So guys, make sure you do your background DD on Lucid Motors. But my humble opinion, I believe it's definitely getting to $100. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you guys subscribe and of course hit that notification bell. Comment below, let me know your thoughts on Lucid Motors. I invested in it, I think about investing in it. Let me know in the comments below, guys. And give this video a thumbs up. Let me know this is the kind of content you guys like to see, and I'll continue bringing out updates on Lucid Motors. Thanks guys, I'll see you in the next video.